Hello. Sorry, I was just finishing something before we went live. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. First of all, I hope you can hear me okay. I can see the chat is working. We are later tonight because UK has shifted into daylight saving. So for the UK guys, we're later. But for the US side, we should be the same. Now, I wasn't sure what I was going to do, but I ended up going later, and there is a few reasons for this, which is going to cause a couple of problems for the UK guys, I know. However, unfortunately, there is a bunch of people who stream on a Sunday, and I don't really want to overlap too much or at all, if possible. So we're going to have to wait and see. So let me just move this microphone into the right position because I didn't quite have it there. I'm going to catch up on the chat first of all. Can you tell me how we are sounding and how we are looking tonight? And I'll explain why I'm asking that in a minute. And in fact, let's go to the full screen first of all. And I have a beer. I have a beer as well. So hello, who do we have? We have Mike Bergman. Hello, my friend. How are you? Guess he's forgot the clocks went forward. No, I've gone forward. I've tried to stay to the same time US, and I'll talk about that in a minute. Good evening, Failsafe. How are you, my friend? John Kirby, Ken Leaper, or Leper, I think it's Leaper. Pedro, how are you? Good evening, Type. How are you, my friend? Hope you are safe and well. So I wasn't sure what to do on the timings because it is a bit of a strange one because obviously the US guys don't really have this shift. I assume they don't have this shift unless I've forgotten something. Have the UK guys shifted? Have we all shifted? Perhaps I do need to shift. Someone explain to me what I need to do. I'm confused. So I thought I'd go at 10 instead of 9. But it still gives us plenty of time to talk about what we're going to talk about. Now, this has been a strange week, actually. There's been a lot going on, and I got a beer, which I'm going to open in a minute. I got a nice Welsh beer as well. There's been a few changes. How does it look? Can someone tell me? How's the video looking? Because there is a change, and quite a big change. That will make a good change for me moving forward. So I'm going to explain what that is. We're going to talk about HDZero and the 1-watt VTX because there's some things you need to know when you're integrating this into your system. Because I've been doing a lot of testing and I've been a bit behind the curve on it. And I'll be honest, I wanted to let all of the reviews and stuff get out the way. But I've been doing a bit more, and there's some interesting stuff that's come to light. That's interesting, very sharp. I've added a touch of sharpness. It might be a bit too much. It could be a little bit too much. I probably need to back it off. Now, the big change is that this is actually in 4K, but being streamed in 1080p. I have made some changes in the back end of the channel, which will allow me now to record all of my content in 4K rather than 1080p. It's something I've been thinking about for some time, but I have had some limitations in place, and the limitation has been the A10 Mini, which is I love this device this year. You guys can't quite see it. It's out of shot, but it is limited to 1080p, and I was running everything through the A10, and the A10 really has got me a long way, but it got to the stage where it was also a limiting factor in what I do moving forward. And the way I make all of my content, the indoors content, is recorded via OBS. I do everything via OBS. So it records, there's a streaming mode and a recording mode that I use via OBS. And the A10 was being the cam input at that point, basically, but it was doing it at 1080p. So this week I ordered this. Let me just grab the box. I already had several capture cards. So I had this, which is a HD60 Pro, which I hadn't been using that much recently. And I've got a HD60S. But I was struggling to sleep middle of the week, and I came across this, the Elgato Camlink Pro. And for those who don't know what this is, I didn't even know this existed. This takes 4 4K 60 inputs as a capture card directly into the PC. So I don't need the ATEM switcher. I don't need any of that. It will take 4 4K inputs directly. Now, this is frankly a bargain. This cost 300 quid. Cam links are like £99 each if you want 4 of them via USB or 3 of them via USB. But this was £300. There is a equivalent by Blackmagic card, which is like £480 minimum. So this thing is just astonishing. From what I've seen so far, I am very, very happy. So the plan is to get rid of the ATEM altogether. A bit sad day. I'd like to keep it as a spare, if I'm honest, but I don't really need it now. It's not doing anything. I'm hitting the buttons. It's not doing anything. And I'm doing everything now via OBS and the Stream Deck, so I can still switch. There we go. I can still do that. We can do the overhead still. We can do all of this stuff. And you guys can see me up here as well. Hello. So all of the usual stuff still works. But I'm now going to be recording the footage in 4K, but we're now streaming in 1080p, and I've just spent a bit of time tweaking the stuff as well, just to look. And I've added some sharpness as well, because I've noticed in OBS it tends to be, if I turn the sharpness off, it goes quite soft, but I might have overdone it a tad. I might have overdone it. But I'm hoping it looks pretty good. I'm hoping it looks pretty good. So, catching up, Welsh Pale Ale. Yeah, let's get the beer open. So how are you guys, first of all? How are you? We got some stuff to talk about, and it's been a weird week, as I said. I've done some changes. Let's get that open on the channel. I've also spent a lot of time looking at HDZero this week because I haven't had a chance. I'll be honest, there's been a lot of illness in my family, unfortunately. COVID has literally ripped through my family. I'm not in a bad way. No one's died or no one's been hospitalized, but it has hit the wife, the kids, my parents-in-law, my sister-in-law, and all of this stuff. All of it. It's just wiped through the family. So it's been difficult for me to catch up, but I've managed to get a couple of videos finished. I hadn't thought about overdone sharpness, but it could be that I'm used to previous setting. Yeah, the sharpness in OBS seems a little bit much. I can't quite decide. Wait there, 1 second. What I will do is, there we go. I've turned the sharpness off. I've turned the sharpening off. Tell me what you think about that now. I've actually turned it off. While I go around and reach something. What I can't quite tell is if the softness I'm seeing is on the monitor side, or is it on OBS side, if you've seen what I mean. I wasn't sure exactly where it was. So tonight's beer, as I said, we have Welsh Pale Ale. Is the lighting in the background different? It is. I've changed the lighting slightly as well. A little bit. Yeah, I've got some color changing LEDs. I've been jealous at looking at a couple of other people's channel streams and stuff, and they look better. So I've been changing things. I bought some color changing LED lamps. I've lost the remotes. This is the problem. All of these LED things take remotes. Oh, we're missing a light up the top as well. That's a point. That's not on. And oh, wait there. Wait there, we need a light on up there. Wait there, wait for it. Hey, that's a bit better. Forgot to turn that one on. I forgot to turn the top one on. But we can change, you know, I can do that, which turns that to yellow, which makes, that was what it was originally, to be honest. We can go, yeah, we can do that, we can do that. How do I blue in that back corner? It looks pretty good at that. Red. Ooh, red. We like red. We always like a bit of blue, don't we? A bit of blue. So that's me messing around with things. So yeah, I have been tweaking the lighting slightly as well. Now, as always, guys, if you've got any questions, put them in the chat. They are up here. It was the headlight that changed the mood. Yeah, it was the one above there. Yellow. You guys preferred yellow. Little yellow. There you go. There you go. So the first thing we're going to talk about tonight is HDZero and the new 1-watt VTX. And this isn't a review or nothing like that. This is simply going to be talking about integrating this VTX into your system and some things you need to be aware of, because I've spent a bit of time looking this week at some of the behavior of the VTX. I have a much better understanding of how it behaves. I think I found a bug as well I think the guys are going to look into. But also, there are a few things here that are probably going to trip some people up. Now, I've got it installed. I've actually been flying it this week. So if I go to the overhead, you guys can see it's actually in my test build. This is my HDZero test craft. I've got the HDZero camera up front. I've got the VTX installed. You can see that it's sandwiched. Oh, God, I think I need the autofocus back on. Come on, Sony. You going to play ball? Woo! Or not? Or is it still manual? The autofocus doesn't want to play ball today, does it? Come on, Sony. There we go. There we go. So I've got the 1-watt installed just to show you in there. I've got some separation, top and bottom, and you really do need to be doing this if you're going to install this VTX right. This thing needs airflow. It gets incredibly hot on the bench. And I'm talking, I've read temperatures of over 100 degrees on the heatsink. They may not be 100% accurate. My infrared is shown like 125. This thing gets insane. So you do not want to be sandwiching this thing in a frame. It needs airflow all round. You can see, obviously, you've got the wiring harness sticking out the side. I'm not a great fan of this, if I'm honest. It's okay, but it's not terrible. But you can see it does fit in the diatone okay. I got no problems. It fits in, so it's ready to go. Now, the things you need to be aware of on this VTX are around the RF behavior and the power consumption of this VTX. This unit is 15 watts, okay? So it is going to draw various amounts of power depending on what your battery voltage is. So, for instance, at 4S, which it can take max because it can't take over 4S, it is about 0.8 of an amp. On running to 1 amp, about 1.05 of an amp or 1050 milliamp hour on 4S direct. But if you're going to try and run this thing off the back in your flight controller, be aware that it does push over 2 amps at times, especially when changing settings of the RF output. And I had some interesting behavior yesterday flying this, and it was actually tripping the back on the flight controller. Now, if you watched last week, HDZero have instigated some behavior in this that when you go to full output, it steps up through the levels. So on level 1, it just goes to it. Level 2, level 3, 500 milliwatts, it just sits there. And then when you go to level 4, it steps down and then steps up slowly. However, there is a quirk with that, and that quirk is it only does it when low power mode is turned off. If you're using low power mode on, when you arm, it will go from 25 milliwatts or whatever the low power is, straight to max output. And that results in quite a big current surge on the back. And depending on what voltage you're running at, will depend on how much current that is and whether it trips it out. In this craft, and I'm just going to go to the overhead again, I'm using the Hobbywing F7 mini flight controller. It'd probably be easier to put it on the desktop, this. Hobbywing. It's the X-Rotor F7. I just want to make sure I show you guys which one it is. I'm just going to grab a USB memory stick. 1 second. Which is this one here, which has an integrated back of, I think it's 10 volts or 12, onboard 5 and 12 volt back, up to, I think it's 1.5 amp on the specs. Let's just have a look. Yeah, 1.5 amp on the 10 volt back. So you got 5 volt back and 10 volt back at 1.5 amp. Now, I had it on the 10 volt one, and I had done a bit of a miscalculation on the math, and for some reason it wasn't in my head going to be a problem. However, it did start to trip out. And as I've said, this behavior is that when you go from low power mode to full output, there is a massive jump in current draw. Now, I'm going to show you what this jump in current draw looks like, because I have an image of it from the oscilloscope, which I'm going to jump here, from the oscilloscope on a current sensor. And what you've got here is the arming of being non-armed down here. This is the point of arming, and then it coming down to level. And if you look at the peak draw, at 10 volts, it was drawing 1.8 amp max for a couple of seconds, and then gets back down to about 1.5 amps, which is the 15 watts. Now, it's this peak that you need to be aware of, because it's that massive jump, and it's actually at times gone over 2 amp. I have had some go as high as 2. Let me just have a look which are the other images, because I took a number of images, and there's one where it really did get over 2 amp on a push. 1.8. Let me just see if it's any of these. No, I might not have taken the image of that one. No, that's a lower one again. So it is worth noting that it is going to have this big draw. Now, as someone has said in the chat, where did I see it? Wind Jumpy FPV, doesn't it come with a voltage regulator? Yes, it does. They do include a BEC in the box. However, I was basically trying to get around not using it. And I know many people are going to be looking at flight controllers going, oh, that's got a good BEC, I'll use that instead of the one in the box. The very simple reality of this HDZero VTX is you need to either use the BEC or run it off battery up to 4S max. My advice is to always use the BEC. Just always use the BEC. Don't even try not using the BEC. I'll actually grab the footage to show you what was happening now, because it was very bizarre. What I was actually getting was it arm, brown out, come back, but come back without OSD, which was really, really weird. I've got the footage on my module. Haven't even taken it out yet. Put the card in and I'll show you guys the kind of behavior I was seeing. But just be aware, you do need to make sure if you're going to use this unit that you do have enough power available, because it will burn it. Let me just have a look. No, it's not that one. I'm just trying to find. I did some recording ones of it just doing it. Here you go. Here's one. So if I put that up. Now, you can't see the OSD on this because I didn't have the OSD recording turned on. Okay. But what you'll see now is the behavior as I arm. There you go. Browns out. And then comes back. But what the weird thing is when it comes back with no OSD at all on the display. I wonder if I've got any others on this. Let's see this one. It's me messing with it. I don't know. No, that's just me messing with it. I did a bit of testing with it, but I can't remember which one it is. Let's have a look through. It was very strange the first few times it did it. No, I think that other one is probably the last one I had it on full power mode. Because I didn't use the internal regulator either. Yeah, it seems to be... No, there's me messing around again. I had one, I'm looking for the video where it happened first of all. The very first time it happened, because it was like, what is this? Do you know what I mean? There it is. Here's another one. So this one here, if we arm, you can see it just browns out. Does this weird behavior. And then comes back. It's a shame I didn't have the OSD recording, because you'd have seen the weirdness of the OSD. Because I've got the OSD recording turned off, you're not seeing that side of it. My guess is the OSD requires initialization from the FC at boot up, and if you restart. Yeah, it's weird though, it clears the OSD, because normally the OSD overhangs on HDZero. Does the input voltage, how often this happens? The issue is current, so you need to be aware that this thing draws a lot of power, especially at higher voltages. I would probably have been okay at lower current voltage. So the back has a 5 volt and a 10 volt output. If I'd have gone on the 5 volt, I'd have probably been okay. But I went with the 10 volt. My advice is you need to use the HDZero VTX on the included back or direct battery voltage. I would personally always use the back for safety, just for additional safety. Doesn't it come with a voltage regulator? Just catching up. Northridge will do. Peppermint. I was shortchanged then. Mine didn't. Yours didn't come with a back. You should have one in the bottom of the box, Peppermint. Very weird. Happening to me right now because I didn't use the back. My guess is USD. How does the input voltage? Yeah, it's very strange, but it is something I highly recommend you be careful of with the HDZero one. You're going to have problems with that 1 watt. Hello, Tweet. How are you, my friend? Now, I've seen some people mention about decasing this thing. Now, let's get the overhead again. Right, temperature. As I've already said, this VTX gets... Focus. Come on, Sony. They say Sony autofocus is the best. Here's a real-life demonstration of Sony autofocus. There we go. This thing, you are not going to be able to decase this. Anyone who talks about decasing, do not consider it. Do not even think about decasing this unit. You will have problems. You will have problems. It gets incredibly hot on the bench. It really, really does. So make sure it's got plenty of airflow. As you can see in the back, I've got gaps above and below. I've put some standoffs in. This was just a quick setup yesterday. I had to do it again to put the back in. It does get very, very hot indeed. It hasn't been a problem in flight. I haven't noticed it in flight being too hot. It seems to be okay. But it is worth thinking about. So just make sure you're running it off the back or the battery at 4S max, but be aware that you are into dodgy ground at that point. Make sure you're using a short saver or at least a spike protector to boot up, and make sure there's a spike protector on it, and make sure it's got plenty of airflow. But you're not going to be decasing this thing. You're not going to be decasing. I've done a few flights, nothing fantastic, no particular range. I am using the original antenna on the back because the tests I want to do are with that antenna as well. So I want to make sure that is all set up too. But yeah, overall, you just need to be aware of those few things. That's all. Okay, right. Just catching back up on the chat a second. I'm going to just find something. 1 second. I'm just looking. Why can't I see what I'm looking for? I'm going to drop that sharpness down a tad more, guys. So I turned it off. So I'm going to go down. How about there? How about there on that sharpness? We're doing live tuning of it as well. Heat pipes. It's going to need some custom cooling. It's gonna need some custom cooling. Quick question: 35 volt, 1000 UF cap for 6S. Is that okay? No, I'd always use bigger the better. That's fine. 35 volt, absolutely perfect. You want overhead on the cap for voltage spikes, and you want 1000 UF. Absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. Of course, not likely to save any weight. Or a fan. It shouldn't need any cooling in a frame. In a wing, it's going to be a different kettle of fish unless you've got airflow. If you've got it in a wing where you've got airflow moving through it, it'll be fine. But again, you do not want to be mounting this thing flat on the deck. You want to have it off. So if I was mounting this in a wing, I would be 3D printing a mount which got it, say, 3 or 4 mil up, so the air could go either side of it and out. But it is going... Joe Mama, how are you, my friend? How's things? How goes? Very good indeed. But yeah, you're going to need to make sure there's airflow around it. It is incredible how hot it gets on the bench. It really is. There is a very real possibility it's got thermal protection, so it should never burn out, but it don't smell great when it starts getting very hot. It really doesn't, even on the bench. I'm quite happy to test stuff to destruction, and it's scary. It's incredible. It's incredible. So overall thoughts on the 1 watt so far. I've seen nothing that's blown me away, but I haven't flown anything that's blown me away. I'll be honest. Than the last live stream. I'm feeling well. I am better. I am. I've had a shave. You can tell I'm less hobo. And there's a video that went out there's a video that's gone out. There's 2 videos which I recorded within 2 days, and I look very different. I look very different. I wonder how it compares to the Vista or unit. They're all hot. Yeah, they're all super hot. Yes, I've had a shave, and I've had a shave on top as well. I've gone less hobo again now. Or hobo dragged through a hedge. Jimmy Third, I have no OSD and I can't access the menu to put it on 1 watt. So, what do you mean you have no OSD? OSD isn't working, or you don't have it? If you don't have OSD, or you're not going to have access to it, you can use the HDZero joystick board. If you don't know what that is, let me just find it. This little thing here will allow you, if you have this or not, to set it to 1 watt. This works with the big VTX as well. You can set the channels on this, and you can set the max power output and turn on and off low power mode, basically, if you've got one of them. It's very handy. You should get one. It is well worth having. So overall, nothing shocking with the VTX at the moment. Nothing bad, nothing specifically good. It gets very hot. I don't particularly like the form factor, and I wish they'd have cut the corners off. The corners are a pain. I think they could have made it a little bit smaller. I'm waiting for someone to grind them down. I wonder if it'll still work. I doubt there's tracks there. You'd have to be very careful, because there'll be internal planing of layers which you don't want to short, but I am waiting for someone to grind the corners down on it. It would help a little bit if the corners were taken off as well. It's not particularly any more difficult to install than a DJI. I think the only thing I really don't like is the power connector on the side. In some ways, and here's an irony to this, the power connector on the side is ideal for me as someone who messes with these things on the bench. And I'll tell you why. Because often I'm powering up a quad on the bench and doing some tests in Betaflight or something, and I want to unplug the power. So now I can just reach down there and do it instantly. That's really handy. I do like that for me. But look, let's be honest. Okay, am I whinging for no good reason? It isn't really that much in the way, is it? Let's be honest. It's probably just me thinking, I don't like that there. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. I would have preferred it to have been the other side. But the annoyance is the joystick board is on the front where you can't get to it. I wish the power cable and the joystick board had been swapped around. That's the only real complaint. So, be aware on the power. Be aware on the power. It uses a lot. It will trip your back over. as I've shown. I'll put it back up again for those who haven't seen. This is the power trip up in high power mode. I have had it on one image. I'm sure it tripped over 2 amp. I'm sure it tripped over 2 amp. Let me just check. I had one image on my phone. Let me just see what it says. Is it that one? Let me just have a look. No, it's not that one. No, I didn't. 1.8. I thought I had one where it tripped over 2 amp. It will go over. It will push. I'm sure I've had one over 2 amps. So, you know, you do need to be aware of it. And that strange seems to be a bug that it doesn't do that stepping up with low power mode on. Why don't they have an on-off switch for bench use? Connector makes DIY switch. Yeah. It's the same with a lot of the VTXs. It'd be nice to have something to be able to power these things off on the bench. It really would. Because it's like this flight controller, this X rotor, doesn't power the receiver from the USB. Really frustrating, but it doesn't. It doesn't power. Most flight controllers will power the receiver off USB. So when you're messing around on the bench and you want to do something, you can. This one doesn't. You've got to have a battery connected to get the receiver to work. It does have pit mode. I haven't tried pit mode, but it would be the same behavior as low power mode, as I would expect. The only problem with that is it might even be a bigger spike. Haven't tried that. That could be a big spike, going from pit mode, 0.1 milliwatt, up to full. I have the board, but so your VTX isn't unlocked. So you need to unlock your VTX. How about using the sticks? Yeah, I forget that one, Ryan. That's the problem. My problem is I'll just power it on the bench and let it sit there cooking itself for 10 minutes. But overall, no major problems with the VTX other than the behavior. The power is the real one. The power is what's going to trip people up on this, because people will inherently want to run it off their back, even though there's a back in the box. You know, the squidgy idiot here did it as well. So, you know, we all will inherently go, it'll be fine. So that's the one that's going to catch people out. That is the one that's going to catch people out. That power and behavior draws a bit of current, but look, it's a high power VTX. It's going to draw some power. Is there any news about HDZero making a new VTX and VRX for new protocol hardware and software? Guys, I don't see Carl making massive changes to their underlying technology anytime soon, because, okay, the second you start making massive changes, you're then segregating user bases. HDZero is still growing and growing and growing. Look, there's some really good stuff coming. We've got the new VRX around the corner. For those who haven't seen it, the great Ryan, and I'll find his video because I'm not going to find mine. I'm going to find Ryan's. Let me get YouTube up. Oh, my keyboard isn't working. Actually, I'll be quicker going to my video and finding the link that I put in it to Ryan's video. That'll be the quickest thing for me to do. Because at least that way I can find the video for Ryan's. Click that one. Now, I'm looking forward to this VRX because I am going to review it. We don't want the audio. I'm going to have to watch the ad for Ryan now so he gets his 1.1p. this month from his income from YouTube, because they look after us all very, very well. Okay. So we've got the new VRX, which Ryan has really kindly shown us some 3D renderings of. It isn't far away now, folks. It shouldn't be too long. But you can see here, let me go. Ooh. This is on Ryan's channel. But here's the new overview. We do have 4 antenna SMAs, no more built-in patch antennas. Some people will be happy about that. Some people won't. I understand. We've still got the horrible bloody rocker. I wish the rocker would go. Sorry, Ryan. I don't like the rocker. I just don't like it. we've got this nice rail system. I really think this is quite clever, this rail system. It's going to be really interesting to see the stuff we've got on there. For those who haven't seen the video I put out this week, the rail system is going to allow you to mount things like the antennas on, and he shows a bit of that at the end of the video, which I'll show you guys in a minute. The new new VRX, I should add, now has a built-in clock, which means it'll have the time and date on the DVR. It has local audio recording. We don't know how good it is. Is it going to pick up the internal fan? What's the noise level going to be like? We don't know, but it's going to be interesting to see. Would have been nice to have had a jack on that as well, personally, just to have the option, but hey, it might be a modification you can do. And there's now an Express ELRS backpack port on the bottom as well. Module's a little bit bigger, but about 2 mil deeper. Overall shape and size is the same, apart from 2 mil deeper, basically, and that's as a result of a new FPGA on board and using a bit more heat with the slightly bigger fan. The power usage does go up, and someone really complained at me about this in my video. Apparently, I glossed over the massive increase in power usage. The HDZero shill, intentionally glossed over the fact that there has been an increase from 7 to 11 watts of power usage. So I apologize for being such a HDZero shill and glossing over that. It is an increase in power usage. Let's not get away from that. It's about 500 milliamp more at input voltage of 7-8 volts. It is enough. It's not something... I personally don't think it's a major problem. Hand on heart, I just don't think it is. But someone got right upset with me in my comments that I had clearly glossed over this fact that it used 57% more power. So I'm making it clear. It uses more power, about 500 milliamp, about 1.4 amp in total at the regulator voltage, off the top of my head, if my math is right. And that's going up from about 900 milliamp on the last module. So about 500 milliamp more. It doesn't have antennas built in, and they're not included. I don't believe, unless Ryan's going to tell us different. Let me just show. You're going to see here the patches. So you've got now the option of whatever antenna layout you want. Now you can choose. It's entirely in your hands. It really is. So what I'm going to be doing when this releases, I'm going to review it. I'm going to test it as it's been tested in the past and show you what the performance is like with its built-in antennas. So I'm going to be taking it out the box, mounting it on front of the goggles, showing you what the performance is like out the box with the built-in antennas. And then I'll complain about the poor range when we get to that point, basically. For those who know what I'm on about there. Yes, it's not an upgrade. It's not designed to be an upgrade. Anyone who wants unicorn poo included, 1080p, variable latency, 4K HDR, this isn't an upgrade. This is a product that was designed to be available on the market. My understanding is, and Ryan might be able to comment on this for me. There he is. Look, there's the great man himself. But my understanding was they didn't want to do anything that would have a great effect on how long it took to come to market. They've already got enough problems with human malware and all of that lot. But there were some tweaks done that were not going to cause massive delays. Let me just stop that playing. Get off. YouTube won't stop playing. Yeah, they didn't want to do anything that would cause massive delays, basically. But there has been some tweaks. We don't know pricing yet. Hopefully that will be made public. It's down to them to make that public when that's time. I said in the video, my belief is somewhere, my expectation would be somewhere between $170 and $230. That's what I'm expecting. I could be wrong. It could be less. It could be more. I would be astonished if it came in below 170 just based on the mess the world is in. And I wouldn't be surprised if it was over 220, 230, but I don't think it will. And that's where I think things are on that. nothing is concrete until the price is actually confirmed. You know, I will just quickly touch on the fact that there is a new FPGA on board, which is using that additional power. So that higher power output that I glossed over as a result of being a HDZero shill is a result of a different FPGA being used. That is a component shortage replacement, nothing to do with improved performance. There's no changes. It's not going to be 4K HDR. You're not going to get 10 times the range. It's simply a component change, and as a result of that, it's using more energy. It is what it is. Yes, it's 500 milliamp more at regulator voltage. Does it mean you might burn through a few more packs? Yes, that is what it is. Okay, it just, you know, there is always a payoff. There is always a trade-off. Today, getting them available, it'd be the biggest priority. Power consumption is a few years down the line. So, you know, I'll let people make up their own mind on that one. So I do apologize for my HDZero shillness. Should wait for HDZero goggles. See, as Ryan has said there, and you know, I've heard some whispers that the HDZero goggles are moving along very, very nicely. I look forward to receiving, as a HDZero shill, I look forward to receiving my free set, where I will be banging in affiliate links in the video and making sure I tell you guys all of the good and none of the bad. So please do hit the subscribe button to make sure you're here for that. Is Fat Shark still making any HDZero? We don't know. I don't know. It's not a question. What is odd about the Fat Shark module is it did become available a little bit. There was supply out there, but I don't know if that was just a batch that reappeared. Fat Shark have said nothing. HDZero guys have said nothing. The belief is no. The belief is it's not in production, but there's nothing concrete out there on that. You need to put your orcas up for sale. I was flying. I've actually got to spend quite a bit of time this week, finally, on the Sky Zones. They're very, very good goggles, especially with HDZero. Very, very good goggles. Zero complaints with the Sky Zone, other than me not being able to remember which button does what. Other than that, absolutely fine. Very, very good goggles indeed. I just wish they could record HDMI input like the Orcas. I really do. And I'd love to find a case. I'd love to find a case that fits the HDZero module and the goggles. If anyone has an idea of a case, not a bag, but a nice case like the case they come in that will take the goggles and the HDZero module, I would be really interested in seeing it. Can't break the DJI spell. Yeah, look, you fly what best suits your needs. I'll be honest, I've had some stuff in this week. It is worse quality. It's just nice to have. I like the idea of being able to record one with OSD and one without, Joe. So if you get my meaning, for content point of view, it'd be nice to have, you can record the DVR without the OSD and then the goggles with the OSD. It's just a nice little feature. It's nice to have the backup of both, isn't it? I used the Radio Master case for my 04X. I haven't got any Radio Master cases. That's a nice idea. Petman, what Joe's on about is the HDZero DVR is a better quality than recording the HDMI input on the Orcas. It's very close. When I did my test, there wasn't a lot in it. Ethics GJ goggles case. Okay, that's a good call. Let's have a look. I could do with a Radio Master sign too. Oh, there's a couple here on. Ooh, some. I should just go and find one on. That's more of a bag, is it? I like it. Like I want something like. There's a 30 quid case here. Not sure if that'll do it. HLRC has 2 different cases. That might work for me. Oh, that's quite cool. I need to have a look at something. The Ethics one has a soft inner lining. Anyone got a link to Ethics one? Ethics DJI goggles. Ethics DJI goggles case. Oh, iFlight, I got one. Ah, Ethics DJI pouch, is it? The Ethics one has a nice soft lining and a little pocket on the outside for the things. Ah, let's have a look. Ooh, let me get my mouse over to the right side. All the way over, all the way over. Ah, that's all right. Oh, should we put these up? Let's have a look. Okay. Oh, that's quite nice. That's not bad neither. Look at that. Oh, that's quite cheap. Okay, so I like that. That's good. And then what we got? Ethics. I just found it just now and I've lost the Ethics one. Where's it gone? Ah, there it is. 17 quid. That's the Ethics one, I assume. Oh, that looks okay. Oh, yeah. I like that as well. Oh, that's pretty good. What's the fluff like on the Ethics one? Is there any fluff off it or nothing at all? I'm just concerned about fluff getting in the optics, that's all. I have the Ethics... I have the Ethics pouch and it's actually extremely nice. That's the only thing I'm always concerned about on these is like the fluff. So I'll have to get the... No fuzz. Perfect. So that's me ordering the Ethics one today. That's the only annoyance. I'm going to put a phone piece on it. So that's that on the HDZero. That's it on the receiver module. They shouldn't be long. More like fur. I prefer a soft case. Nice. Then a big Radio Master one. Yeah, because the backpack is... Oh my god, that's the backpack. A Rika backpack. A backpack's like 20 years old. Hi lads, I have white needles in my video feed. I have LC filter and 2 gaps. Any help? What system? I'm assuming analog, but getting crushed. Yeah, that's the only thing I was thinking then. Now I've ordered some stuff actually. Let me just grab something to show you guys. 1 second. I have ordered some stuff because Bruce keeps talking about this, about analog being as good as digital. And this is nothing to have a go against HDZero. It's as much as anything about how good is the best analog. And it's something I'm going to be doing a little video on at some point. So I've been ordering in some stuff to have a look. And I'm waiting on the proper camera to come because I can't get it in the UK. But it's been a while since I've ordered analog gear. So we've got a Unify Pro. From TBS. 800 milliwatts output. Nice to see how small they've been able to scrape 800 milliwatts in that. Spent some horrible amounts of money on 2 HDZero cables because I was short. Needed some length. And we've got 2 cameras from Foxeer. Now, this isn't the T-Rex. I've actually had to order the T-Rex from Foxeer in China because I can't get it in the UK. But we've got the Toothless Micro and the Falcor 3 here. Now, I have to say, which one is which? Let me just remember. I think, which one of these is the half-inch sensor? Is it the Toothless is the half-inch? Let me just check. I've forgotten. Is it the Toothless? One of these is got a half-inch sensor, and it looks very, very good. Yes, the Toothless 2. So the Toothless 2, this one here. This camera looks very, very good. This has got the quarter sensor, and this has got the half. And I'll say something, I am impressed with that camera. I really am. I'm going to be waiting for the T-Rex to come because I couldn't get it in the UK. I just couldn't get it anyway. So I've had to order it from China. But this camera gives a very, very good image quality when tuned. Don't get me wrong. The wide dynamic range is frankly horrible. But I'm hoping to get the T-Rex here in the next couple of weeks. It's been shipped. I had to order it from China, unfortunately. I just couldn't get it in the UK at all. Just couldn't get it over here. But I am going to be doing a bit of a sort of an analog to digital comparison. And I'll compare all three systems. Not really to say what's better, but I want to, you know, it's a comment that Bruce keeps talking to me about, and we were talking about it a few times, and it's just like, what is the cost? And I know actually HDZero is going to get very, very close because the cost isn't dramatically different when you're talking the higher end cameras and the higher end VTXs. There's not a lot in it. And I'll be honest, it's been a while since I've flown high end or the higher end of FPV cameras. So these came in today. I ordered these. I had to do an order from Hobby RC. I've also got the new HDZero Nano Cam. Haven't had the Nano yet, so that's finally arrived as well. So we've got the Nano, which I'm going to be talking about too in the next couple of weeks. So there's quite a bit camera-wise. And I ordered this damn thing in as well, which cost a fortune. This is for the 7-inch build that I can't get motors for. But we've also got in the T-Motor F55 Pro 2, which is going to be going on the 7-inch build in total. That one. But again, I'm still waiting. To be able to get motors. I just can't get motors or a flight controller. Catching up on the chat. Give me a second. GoPro FPV. I run Fat Sharks Channel 1. Just joined and heard T-Rex and HDZero compositions. Excellent. Hey, Chris, how are you doing? Yeah, I'm waiting for the T-Rex to come. It has shipped. I don't know how long it's going to take to ship. You can't get it anyway in the UK. But I have to admit, I was quite impressed with the Toothless 2. I'll be interested to see how much better the T-Rex is than the Toothless 2. I wasn't sure which of these two would be better, so I ordered both. German runs on the T-Rex would even be better. Spoon FPV evening. Sorry I missed the start. Please, I fixed my OSD passing the CLI exchange. I had to put it there after updating the 4x3. I appreciate it. Right, evening. Sorry, I missed the start. Please, I fixed my OSD after passing the CLI script. Strange I had to do that. After updating to 4.3. I appreciate you saying you. Yeah, funny enough, and I'll talk about 4.3 in a minute. I've just updated. There is an F3 version of that T-Motor ESC, and I think it's a couple of dollars less. I wonder why. Yeah, I'm not sure. When it first came out. I haven't tried the latency on them. That's a good point. That'll be an interesting check. There's an F3 version. I did notice there was two, and I can't remember what the difference was. Does the F3 not have the LED? I haven't looked at the latency. Have they got the latency figures on the back? Every location, so it's not a bad power. I think I've put an else in the camera, but do full PWM. There, it might be that there's a limit. It's not my area of expertise. Ah, for the by RPM. Right, there we go. The Micro Vision 2 is pretty awesome. Seen very to usually recommend like that. Yeah, I've got the Nano. We've got the Micro and the Nano. Obviously, there's been a bit of talk about this week, actually, and this is probably something I wasn't going to talk about. Before I move on, I'll go one last conversation, okay? And that is on the two HDZero cameras, because there's been a bit of confusion, and genuinely, this was something I was not aware of. So we've got the Nano and the Micro version 2. So the Micro version 2 is what I've got in there, which does both 4x3 and 16x9. And the Micro version 2 does, the Nano version 2, the Nano does 4x3 and 16x9. However, the Micro version 2 doesn't do 16x9 at full resolution. Okay, there is some. Okay, the Micro version 2 is a full 4x3 camera, but it basically does cropping to get 16x9. It doesn't do native 16x9, whereas the Nano does. So the 4x3 on the Micro version 2 is the best mode to use it in. It looks very, very good indeed. I was using it yesterday. It's the one I've got on that aircraft. It looks very, very good. But if you want 16x9, you want to be choosing the Nano, not the Micro. And there is a bit of a mix of getting this right, because we had the Micro and the Micro version 2. So the Micro version 2 is the current one with the proper lens, sticks out a bit, not the smaller one. You've then got the Nano, which is the version 1, but the Nano does full 4x3 and 16x9, whereas the Micro 2, version 2, the basics way to explain it is it overlays a crop on the 4x3 to get the 16x9, which is probably, I think, about 720 by... It's a reduction in resolution to about 576, and then they stretch the image and to make it 16x9 and send it out, but you've not got full resolution of the sensor. You've got full resolution of the sensor in 4x3, but not 16x9. So if you want the best possible 16x9 image from HDZero, you want the Nano camera, not the Micro. That's the thing to understand. Really, you want to be flying them in 4x3. But I do understand some people like 16x9. But what they're basically doing in 16x9 is taking the 4x3, which is 1280 by 960, and then putting a 16x9 crop over the top of that, taking it down further and stretching it and moving it around. I've got a better explanation that I've written up for it, which I'm going to do in a video. But it is worth noticing. I should try a different lens. Yeah, there is a bit of a difference. And I'll be honest, this was something I didn't know myself. I only found out about it this week. It's not been glossed over. It's not been hidden. I just think it's sort of slipped under most people's radars. That's the problem with that one. So, but if you are a 16x9 pilot, you want to choose the Micro. But it does have a very wide field of view. What's it, 150 degrees? It is different. But yeah, I'm going to talk about that when I talk about both of these cameras. The Micro version 2 looks very, very good. It does look very, very good in the goggles. It looks very good in the sky zones, I'll be honest. It really does. So, anyway, I need to stop shilling HDZero. Clearly, I am nothing but a horrible shill who doesn't tell the truth. Next, we are going to talk about Betaflight 4.3 quickly, because I finally installed it. I finally got around to doing it, and I actually did it on this, because this has been my worst flying quad. I don't know why. It just never flew really well. So whilst I was doing the HDZero update, I thought it was time to go 4x3. And I'm just going to share some experience. Now, I used a combination of JB's video, and I'll be honest, Chris Rosser has some stonking videos on setting up 4x3, the filtering, and just the stuff you want to check. And I used that just to double check stuff. Chris goes on longer than me, and I end up watching Chris on 1.5 times, as I highly recommend you watch me on 1.5 times, because I spend way too much time talking nonsense. And Mr. Rosser, the great Mr. Rosser, who I think is a fantastic guy, is worse, in my opinion, at the moment. I'm just going to leave that out there as abuse. But yeah, Chris has some fantastic videos on setting up everything on 4.3 in the recommended settings, and I've done it, and I really like how it flies. I really do. I got a bit of prop wash I need to tune out. Nothing fantastic. But I did like the way Chris stepped you through it. But yeah, I installed it this week for the first time, and it just works. You know, it just flies really well out the box. A little sluggish for me. And I'm just meaning when I'm throwing it about in a field, I like quads quite sharp. I need to jack the rates up a bit. I don't think my hands are quick enough, so I need the faster rates. Good evening, Peppermint. Stay safe, mate. But yeah, 4x3, absolutely no problems at all. Absolutely fine. Just worked. I love the new motor setup tab. It's great to see that there finally. Because most of mine are always set up the wrong way around for one reason or another. HDZero goggles for sharpening. Yeah, Chris is good. Just put him on 1.5 times. To be honest, I almost watch all YouTube videos on 1.5 times now. I just get through them that way. Those presets. Do you know what? I haven't played much with the presets. It applied a preset, and I don't know which one it did. I set it up, right, and it said, there is a recommended preset for your build. Do you wish to install it? And I just said yes. What preset that is, who knows? Does anyone know? Can you check? I haven't looked. Is there a way to check? But it just said there's a recommended preset for your build. So I went, okay. I didn't dig too deeply into the presets. Let's find a cable. But it is very, very good. That's weird. I've never been recommended a preset. Yeah, it literally set it up. So I'd flashed it and it went, there is a preset for your setup. Do you wish to apply it? Or some words along that effect. And I was like, okay, I'll do that. Do we know if there is a way of but if you apply one, it'll replace anything you previously one did? Yeah. Do we know if there's a way of telling what presets installed? That's something I haven't even looked at yet. I haven't delved as a coder of 20 years. I'm going to ahead and wait until 4.3.2. I love the trust you have in Betaflight. It was a bit touch and go because I'm thinking new VTX. This is asking that have been defaults. Let's have a look. So we're in presets. Please back up your current config before doing anything else. So look at all of these presets. But I've just gone with, I don't think there's a way to see the preset installed. Yeah, it's a shame, isn't it? That would be good. I did, mind, the presets really, I did a complete manual setup. So I configured everything as it was. Drop down for tuning. Let's have a look. Categories, tune. There we go. Superfly. She got official tunes here. UAV tech, look, 5-inch UAV techs, experimental ones. I just did a full manual setup. That's all I did. But what's really nice, look at this. Right there. VTX. Oh, we need HDZero ones. Unify, OpenTX, HDZero Race V2. There we go. The Race V2's there. But you've just got some really nice rates, modes, filters. Wait for Chris Ross's. So I just did a full manual config. These only tune your PIDs and filters. Yeah, exactly. You know, I just did a manual. Also use the VTX presets, no more VTX tables. I don't use smart audio. To be honest, I prefer the VTX menu. If I could have smart audio and the VTX menu, as I've whinged about already on the group, I would be a happy man. But as I can't, I choose the VTX menu. But yeah, this is all the presets. So what we can then do is go into tune. We got rates, tune. So, okay, interesting. What's the difference between rates and tune? So rates will just be RC rates and tune will be all of the PIDs, I'm assuming. But look, we've got Superfly for an FPV style 5-inch. Save backup. Loading current configuration from the flight controller. So let me back up. Backup HDZero build. I'm just backing up that CLI. Superfly UAV tech. So that's just backed up the nice. So what these are going to do, so if we go into the presets, we go back to tune. So I'm intrigued. Tune, do you fly DJ analog as a daily MADS? I fly mostly, at the moment I've been off for 2 months because of winter here in Wales. I predominantly DJI, more HDZero than DJI now. I don't really fly analog at all anymore. I haven't flown analog properly for about 2 years. Just as a matter of interest, so does a tune also bring in rates as well? Or is it only going to bring in PID? And I'm intrigued what it's going to set stuff to. Because that's pretty much where I was already. No rates in the tune. Okay, so it's just tune. So how did you find the tune? You found the Superfly very good, I'm assuming. Joe Mama. You have to load the tune. Yeah, no, I'm wondering, how did you find it? Yeah. So do you reckon I go with this? Look at this. See, look at this. Look, you got the settings for this. So we got RPM filtering, which I've already got turned on. With HD cam. So when they say HD cam, are they talking about GoPro, external GoPro? Is that what they're talking about as a GoPro? Yeah, okay. Just wanted to make sure. So, I'm going to click without GoPro, because I'm not flying GoPro on this one. So we've got RPM filtering, 4S, there we go. And then I'm assuming, we click pick. This tune only works with D-Shot 600 or D-Shot 300. Use anything else is extremely unsafe. Yes. And then save and reboot, I'm assuming. This is very good, isn't it? This is very, very good. Because I literally just built this yesterday. And if we go to PID tune. Oh, look at that. Now that's all over the place, isn't it? Look at that. Nice. More hours of tuning. It's very good, isn't it? It's very good. Yeah, what if they got it on Where they got the master down there? I'd only tune the master anyway if I was... Yeah, might check. What I miss? Good evening, Bruce. How are you? So that's me flying in the morning. The batteries are done. It is very good, isn't it? It's a big difference. And I do like the fact of... You've got Express ELRS 250. So that's adjusting the Express ELRS smoothing and everything. You can custom search terms. Yeah, I can see here. We've got authors, firmware. It's very good. Very good indeed. Very good. What we got under other? Black box disable. It's a big change. It's a big change. You can use custom search terms. Very nice indeed. Very nice. I hadn't played with the presets much yet. I literally did the setup and took it for a fly, and it flew all right. But I'll be intrigued to see how it flies now in the morning. I look forward to that. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Joe. It is very good, isn't it? It really is very good. It's come on massively. It really has come on massively. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about, if you guys got any questions, please do put them in the chat. Let me go on the overhead. I just want to show you guys quickly. I'll let you know in the morning. I'm going to try and fly tomorrow morning. Okay, I just want to show you guys this quickly. Let me just get this to zoom in a bit. Where is it? This is the new version of the BetaFPV flat antenna RX. I've been doing a bit of testing on this, and I haven't finished doing that testing yet, but I thought I would just show you guys this, if I can actually get it to come out of its packet. It's in there. It just doesn't want to come out. This is the new updated version. I can't get under the microscope because it's not working. Let me just try it. No, it's not working. See? I've got to fix that, and I can't fix that until I get off here. But this is the new version of the chip antenna. And they have made a couple of changes, but I can't really show you this on the overhead. So this bit is going to be a complete waste of time. The plan was to actually show you under the microscope, and I went to use it, and it's not working. I don't know why. And I still don't know why it's not working. Very strange indeed. Yes, that's something I'm going to have to fix. But anyway, I've got the new version. They have made a change on the input of the antenna. You guys can't really see it, but there's a component change down here. That component change is they've changed the filter and they've removed the capacitor and resistor network, and it's straight in. I'm going to be trying this in the next couple of weeks just to see how it behaves overall, and then I will post the results to you guys. But this is the replacement one for the original one with the flat antenna. So for those who don't know, they have replaced it. It's a new version of it, and BetaFPV, as I am a massive BetaFPV shill, have sent it over to me to have a look at. I can start again, Sean. I've got a video you're going to like shooting. They are so-so at the best of times, but it was so-so and worse before. Can you use your phone as a magnifier? That's an interesting thought. I don't know if it'll work. 1 second. Let me just go over to the workbench. I don't know why this isn't working. Let me just go here. But he's on that. So I'm just trying to figure out why this isn't working. Configure video. It's saying no signal. That's the problem. I wonder why it's saying no signal. What's weird is it doesn't like the input from that video port at all. Yeah, it's definitely not liking the microscope camera, and I don't know why. Oh, wait a minute. Ah, that's my fault. We got there. I selected the wrong input. I thought it was on 3. Oh, no, it's on 3, not 4. That's what happens when I was rushing beforehand. Right, 1 second. 1 second, folks. Let me just move you over to the microscope a moment. I'm turning the microphone around. It's going to make a horrible noise, but sorry, I can't change that. Now, today we're going to take a look under the microscope and have a quick look at what this new receiver is like from BetaFPV. When I get the packet open, we'll actually have a proper look. It seems to be coming in some of the most difficult packaging I've ever come across. I genuinely can't get in it. I'm going to cut it open in a minute. There, finally. Okay, folks. Right. So what we're going to do first of all is grab the first receiver, the original one, show you guys under the microscope. Here we go. Here we go. Eyes down on the floor. Let me just figure out where stuff is. There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay, so oh, that looks pretty good, doesn't it? So what we have is, this is the original BetaFPV version. So this is the one that they shipped originally. Let me find me tweezers. So just to show you guys, what we have is the RF input output here. That one there. Going into this filter, out the filter, through the capacitor into the antenna. Now, the performance on this one was found to be pretty poor, and it was not working even to the standard most people expected. And whilst these antennas aren't great, it was well below that. So BetaFPV went away and they did do a redesign, and they said they found an issue with the circuit they were using. And when I get this underneath, we can then show you the new one, which is this one here. And now you can see that we now have the signal again coming from here into just this simple filter. It's a different filter, smaller filter, and then going straight into the antenna. They have changed the PCB mask so you can't see the layers quite as easily, so you can't see the tracks, but they are there. But yeah, they've done just a different design on it altogether. Just putting it there, and then that's the filter. So it's just a single component. Is it me, or does the microscope look so much better on this new capture card? It look on my side, this is looking blooming spectacular. How's it looking on your side, guys? I was having trouble before. That is looking fantastic on the monitor on this side. It really is. It might look shocking your side, so I do apologize. But yeah, so that's the difference. Very minor. If I put them side by side, push them over a bit. There you go. And you can see the difference. So this is the original one which had problems. This is the new one. So nothing dramatic, but they have made a component change. So we're going to have to see now how this one performs overall, really. I'm just going to swing back around because I like to swing. That looks fantastic on my side. It's not connected to the antenna. It is. You just can't see the PCB tracks. They are there. I do promise you. Looks as crappy as ever. Oh, thanks, Bruce. On my side, it looks just better, but I was having some problems with it. Anywho. Putting my monitor back in place. The other issue I would appreciate F4 flight controllers having receivers having to wire the telemetry wires to S with the looks like it's doing a digital zoom. Take into account, yeah, I'm not sure what mode we're in. Let me just go back to the workbench. We're in 1080p 60. But I'll have to have a watch it back. It is being upscaled and then downscaled and then upscaled again. So it may not look great. Test with continuity to the antenna. Spin FPV. The other issue I would appreciate, F45 controllers have an ELRS receiver but having to wire the telemetry wires to S-bus on F4s. It's been a while since I've used an F4. Test with continuity. You want me to? Do you guys want me to test that the filter is actually connecting to the chip? I can't test the antenna because the track's underneath. But I could test from the pin of the chip to the filter if you really, really want me to. We could if we have to. Test for continuity. Is it plugged in? I had it on the wrong port. Unbelievable. I was thinking of 4, not 3. It's my new capture card had done that. Have you got your graphics card, Bruce? Are you happy? It's good enough. Oh, that's okay. Yeah, it will be because it's not the greatest camera. It won't look the greatest either. Now, what else did I put in the title for today's video? Because I've forgotten. Oh, I got then. So far, let me test 1 second. Overall, I got to say I like Betaflight. Mining crypto from now on. Today, I haven't mined for a while, actually. I've stopped. I haven't done it for some time. So, that is pretty much it from me for this week, guys. We're heading for an hour and a half. So, as it's a bit later in the UK, I'm probably going to call this one a night. Time-wise, what's people's thoughts on this? Because I'm losing track of... Obviously, the UK's hit daylight saving. What I might start doing is going from 9:30 in the UK and not 10 on the hour. That's what I may end up doing because the UK is shifted. I could go back to 8 o'clock, but I'm probably then going to end up overlapping. It won't be JB. But Colorado here. Yeah. Coyote. We're going to overlap him. Seattle. I always say Coyote, Seattle. I do it on purpose now. I keep saying it on purpose. My problem is I'll say it wrong and it'll just be in my brain, but it's Seattle. Yeah, we're going to end up overlapping Seattle. Illyria later works for me. It's the problem with the British time change. It does. Tonight you start at 5 p.m. Boston time. Yeah, I think that was the time it always was. The problem is the UK, we still do this stupid daylight saving time. That's the problem with the UK. So we've shifted. So I might... So I can organise my live stream to happen at exactly the same time. It's getting like that on a Sunday. I can see me having to freaking change days. That's the problem. At this rate. So we want the new experience connecting to S-bus. There isn't only... So, okay, Spooner, just let me get my head around this. So we want the new ELRS receivers connected into S-Bus. Where is the help? There isn't there. So, okay, so F4s. Have... So are you talking about here, the dedicated S-Bus pad on the F4s? But it's not a dedicated S-Bus pad, but it's... Okay, so the F4s have... Have they got hardware inverters on the F4s? Is that what I'm thinking? Is there hardware inverted ports on the F4s? Yeah, it's okay. So on the F7s, so if we don't have UART, you're stuffed. So what you're saying is there are a number of F4 flight controllers that have a dedicated S-Bus port, which has the hardware inverter on already, and it doesn't have the TX pad, or it's inverted. It's a tough one because it's a limitation of crossing techs, isn't it? That's the problem. There were some F4s that were accepting it, wasn't there? Because I thought the Brain FPV added it in firmware. I had the same issue. I had to power from a special rail uses a 5-volt S specification and use the uninverted TX and RX3 pads. I'll be honest, the problem is people aren't really going to want to put too much time in. Okay, what's the workaround? You've either got to go the other side of the inverter if it's, because don't a lot of them have the external inverters. You've either got to add an inverter, as Bruce is saying, or you can uninvert the port. But I can't remember if it's... I thought there were hardware inverters on most of the F4s. But it might be a physical inverter that you could bypass. Or is it in the... I'm trying to remember if it's a hardware inverter, but can you turn it off, as Joe Mama said? It's been a while. It's been a real while since I've had to look at this. Can we disable inverters on F4? I can't remember. I'd have to have a look. I have come across this. Yeah, the guys on Express LRS Discord would be the place to talk. They are very good. Sorry, I'm just trying to level my monitor up. It wasn't level. F4 HDZero. And the problem with the F4 is you had limited, one transistor, two resistors. That's all it is, as Bruce has said there. The post year from 2009. You need to sit. Some have a control pin for the inverters. You can disable it on the ones that have control pins. Yeah, there is. Yeah, that's a point. There was software inversion. That's a point. It's been a while. I've looked at this before, and I can't remember what it was for either. And you can select... Look at the pin number... That should turn the inverter off. What flight controller is this? Resource invert. Yeah, there is a CLI command to turn off the inverters. There is a CLI which is resource inverter 1C00 or similar. Go to CLI and type resource inverter 1 none, and that'll free up another UART for use. In ExpressLRS, you can select inverted. I know I was having problems with the the Brain FPV controller, which wouldn't play ball at all on the S-Bus port. I ended up using the Spear UARTs. I would suggest having getting into bind is the problem, but then getting into bind is the problem. Yeah, there is always going to be overhangs on the F4s, and the problem is people are not going to want to put too much time on it. Okay, Spooner, post it on the ExpressLRS Discord. That's the place to put it. There are some amazing guys there. I'll hop in as well. Yeah, I've seen that in the ExpressLRS. They are fantastic. Someone will chip in with it in there. They really will. They really will. Right, guys, it's just gone past the bottom of the hour and it's heading for midnight here in the UK. So I'm going to call this one a night. I want to thank you all for spending some time with me. Thanks to everyone who hit the like button as well. I really do appreciate it. It's been fantastic, as always, to spend some time with you on a Sunday night. We will be back, same place, but maybe not same time next week. I've got a couple of videos going live this week. I recorded one just before I went live. Sean, I got something I need to send you. You'll like this. Stay safe, everyone. If you want to support the channel, there are links to my Patreon as well as Buy Me a Coffee. Please do check them out. Other than that, same time, maybe same place, maybe same time next week. And I will speak to you guys again soon. Now I got to try and find the button. How do I find the button on this? Oh, it's over here. Here we go. I will speak to you guys later. Button 1, button 2.